What's up, guys? Welcome back to Chris's Science Show. This is part 2 on the muscular system. So in our last video, we went over the different types of muscles, so skeletal, cardiac, and smooth, and the differences between them. Then we went over the characteristics of muscle, which is the contractility, extensibility, elasticity, and excitability. So now we're going to be going over a few more concepts: the layers of connective tissue. We're going to explain what tendons are, and we're also going to explain the areas of skeletal muscle fibers. So let's get into it. So there are three layers of connective tissue in an actual muscle. So we usually see in muscles, um, like we just see muscles in our human body, but this is like if we like cut a muscle, this is what we'll see. So there are three layers of connective tissue, and the main function of it is to basically give like a structure, like keep like a compartment for each one. So first we have the first layer is called the epimysium. So the epimysium surrounds the whole muscle, and it wraps the whole muscle in like a sheath kind of. And so the epimysium is basically just made of dense irregular connective tissue, and it's basically what the dense irregular connective tissue does is it allows a muscle to contract and powerfully while maintaining the whole muscle's integrity. So the epimysium just basically separates the muscle from all the other organs in the body. Next, we have inside each one, all the muscle fibers here, like the small little dots, they're bundled into each different parts, and so each bundle of fibers are called fascicles. So each bundle is called a fascicle. So you see, they took one out for us, and they're showing us that one whole thing is one fascicle. And so there's also a layer for this. So encasing each fascicle is another layer called the perimysium, and this is also made up of dense irregular connective tissue. Finally, in each muscle fiber, so this is the muscle fascicle, they're taking one out. So each one is a muscle fiber. They're taking one out, and basically each muscle fiber surrounding it is made of an endomysium. And so the endomysium is made up of collagen reticular fibers, and the endomysium contains the extracellular fluid and nutrients to support the muscle fiber. Okay, I hope we got that. I'll just stay for some time here so you guys can take notes. Just pause the video and we're gonna move on. Okay, so what exactly is a tendon? So a tendon basically is part of the muscle, and it connects the muscle to a bone. So the tendon doesn't actually connect directly with the bone. The bone has a layer encasing it called the periosteum, and that periosteum covers the whole bone except in areas of cartilage. We're going to go through the bone in later videos, so just stay tuned for that. Okay, so basically when the tendons pull on the bone, the collagen in all the three layers basically contract, so everything is continuous. The epimysium, perimysium, and endomysium, all of them move together in synchrony, I guess. So next one, we're gonna be talking about the areas of skeletal muscle fibers. So I just want to, before we go into more detail, the muscle fibers and muscle cells, the names can be used interchangeably. So the plasma membrane of a muscle fiber is known as the sarcolemma. The cytoplasm of a muscle fiber is known as the sarcoplasm. And there's also a smooth endoplasmic reticulum which stores calcium when needed for the muscle, because calcium is needed for muscle contraction. We'll get into that in our next video. And that area is called the sarcoplasmic reticulum. So the functional unit of a muscle fiber is called the sarcomere. And we can differentiate one whole sarcomere because there are these things called z-discs. So z-discs basically show that there's one sarcomere. So from one z-disc to the next z-disc, this is our functional sarcomere. And so there's two main myofilaments in a sarcomere. We have a thin filament and a thick filament. And these two filaments are needed for muscle contraction. So the thin filament is mostly made of actin, and the thick filament is mostly made of myosin. And so in actin there are two regulatory proteins known as troponin and tropomyosin. So actin, troponin. So here's a good image for that. We can see that this whole strand is actin. So this is troponin and tropomyosin. So tropomyosin basically has the actin has binding sites for the myosin, and so tropomyosin is basically blocking those binding sites while the troponin is stabilizing it. And the thick filament, we can see that it has like a little head which will connect to the actin binding site. Okay, moving on. So there are a little bit more just like areas where we can like identify stuff. So the A band is the area where both the thick filament and the thin filament is present. So that's why it's and the I band is an area where only the thin filament is present, and finally the H zone is where but only the thick filament is present. So one way to differentiate the I band and the A band is um, light has the I and dark, which because it's light in this area, so we can see that the I band is pretty light, but the A band is really dark because it contains both areas. It contains both um, myofilaments. So, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe as it would really help me make more videos, and we'll see you on the next Krish's Science Show, where we're going to go more into the actual reasoning of how the muscles contract. Thank you for watching.